Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soul Stain Ink. My name is Beth, and I am here today to take advantage of a really weird day where we're not having school on a Tuesday, and my teething baby is actually sleeping, in order to bring you the wrap up for Scooby-Doo-a-thon. Stick around to see what we read. My 7-year-old and I both participated, and most of what I read was her books with her. We listened to several audiobooks, read several books together. So I didn't get a whole bunch of my list read, but I'm going to talk to you about those first and then just give you a list of what I read with her. And she wants to try to give you her own wrap up. So you've got that to look forward to. If nothing else, it'll be adorable. But I did complete 3 adult type books. The first one is a YA contemporary called Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. This was one of the BookTube It books a year or two ago, and I got a copy, and I don't like contemporaries, and I'm not a big fan of YA, and this did not sit particularly well with me, mostly because it's a YA contemporary romance. Although the romance definitely takes more of a back seat, there's a whole lot that happens in here. It focuses on Emily, her relationship with her best friend, and a lot of things that have happened. There are a lot of flashbacks. It's great. The only thing is, I apparently kind of skimmed through the middle without realizing it. So I remember the first couple of chapters. I remember the end. The middle is kind of fuzzy, but that's fine. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, whatever you give it. There's 3 of them. I can understand why people who enjoy contemporary YA romances would love it. It is a great character study. It's interesting-ish if you like that stuff. But it just wasn't exactly my cup of tea. So 3 out of 5 stars. It is what it is. Moving on. I gave Victorian Fairy Tales, edited by Michael Newton, a 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed most of them. This is just a collection of Victorian fairy tales. I really loved the fact that they included really well-known authors like Rudyard Kipling, and coupled that with some that just are not nearly as well known and maybe only wrote the 1 or 2 fairy tales. So that was great. Absolutely enjoyed it. Highly recommend. 4 out of 5 stars. The third and final book that I completed that was just my audiobook was Meddling Kids. I don't have a physical book to hold up for you. That is by Edgar Cantero, and it is an adult version riff off of Scooby-Doo. So it's set in the real world, real evil, real monsters. The dog is not the same dog that was there 20 years ago, etc. I liked it. I gave it a 3.5-ish out of 5 stars. It was good, but as much as I love Scooby-Doo, Meddling Kids, there were parts that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But overall, I enjoyed it. There was a lot of scientific banter in there that was fun to listen to. And just the characterizations were awesome for who they were. They were definitely not the Scooby Gang, but they were great. All right, then I almost forgot. I also read The Wild Robot by Peter Brown, which is a middle grade story about a robot who winds up on an island and learns to live among the animals. And I absolutely love the book. It's already at school. I took it in, read the first chapter to all my classes for First Chapter Friday, and I believe somebody's already checked it out to read. But it was absolutely fabulous, and I highly recommend that you guys pick it up. Then Elena and I read Flower Fairies. It is a paper dolls book, but it has these little discussions about what the fairies wear and what they like to do, and they're going to a ball, and we haven't poked them all out yet. So this is a paper doll book, so you can pop them out and play with them. And there's a little deal back here, and we've already popped out some of the stuff, as you can tell. So that was really fun. Gave that a 5 out of 5 stars. We also read Tink North of Neverland. This is a chapter book, kind of upper children's, lower middle grade chapter book about Tinkerbell and Terrence, who is one of her best friends, and she does something and decides that she needs to apologize to Terrence. Basically, she misses him, and she does this huge grand gesture, or tries to, in order to apologize to Terrence. She learns some lessons along the way, and Terrence does as well, and it's very, very cute. We really enjoyed it. 4 out of 5 stars. Next, we read Ruby the Red Fairy. This is the first book in the Rainbow Magic series by Daisy Meadows. In fact, Daisy Meadows has, I don't know how many different little series in this fairy magic world that she's created, and we believe that Ruby is the very first book that started it all off. We've read several of Daisy's other books, loved them, and when we found this, picked it up for $1 at a thrift store, and read this together, and she loved it so much. We immediately found all the audiobooks on Overdrive and spent the first 3 days of Scooby-Doo-a-thon reading all 7 books in the Rainbow Magic series. So we read Ruby the Red Fairy, Amber the Orange Fairy, Sunny the Yellow Fairy, Sky the Blue Fairy, Inky the Indigo Fairy, and Heather the Violet Fairy. And they've all got 4 out of 5 stars. They were very, very cute and sweet and very much written for younger children. We enjoyed them. Although Elena has gotten to the point where the book ended and she was like, there should have been more action in that. Because, children's fairy books, there's not going to be like huge amounts of action and scariness for the most part. And she was not exactly down with that. But she really enjoyed the series. So there you go. Next we read Mrs. Piggy Wiggle by Betty McDonald and gave this 4 out of 5 stars as well. I really enjoy Mrs. Piggy Wiggle. And this series of books is Elena's teacher's favorite children's series. So they read some of the stories out loud throughout the school year. And we just decided to go ahead and reread this one that they read last year. We're in such a small school that Elena's 1st and 2nd grade teacher is the same lady, because we have 1st and 2nd grade in class together. And we just absolutely adore Cindy. She is fabulous. She's one of my favorite people. She's Elena's favorite teacher ever. And Elena's actually had 4 teachers, so there you go. But yeah, we loved Mrs. Piggy Wiggle and really enjoy the fact that we were able to go back and tell Miss Wilson that we read it. And then we read Scooby-Doo and the Monster Menace. This is by James Gelsey, and we just love Scooby-Doo. We finished another one, but we finished it yesterday, so the day after the Scooby-Doo-a-thon ended. But at the end of the Scooby-Doo-a-thon, we were still reading Scooby-Doo and the Fairground Phantom, which had a blue and white cover, which was one of the prompts, but Miss Piggy Wiggle did too, so we weren't too fussed about it. And then finally, we read To the Future, Ben Franklin. And this is the 32nd book in the Magic Treehouse series by Mary Pope Osborne. Mary Pope Osborne is fabulous for a lot of reasons. She makes sure she fact checks all of the things, the historical elements and things that she puts into her books. And then she writes a fact checker book to go along with each of the books. In this one, Jack and Annie go back to Old Philadelphia and meet Ben Franklin as he is trying to decide whether or not to sign off on the Constitution. It was very, very cute. We really enjoyed it. 4 out of 5 stars for that as well. So those are all the books that I read for the Scooby-Doo-a-thon. And I'm going to pretend like that was a really awesome, amazing reading week for me. I mean, it really was, but most of them were children's books. So I guess I feel like they don't count as much, even though they do, especially since I was reading them with my 7-year-old who absolutely went whole hog on this sucker, guys. My 7-year-old read like 8 books in 2 weeks for the Scooby Doo-a-thon. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, more than that, 8, 9, 10, like 11 books in 2 weeks for the Scooby Doo-a-thon. I am so proud of her. I can't even see straight. But don't tell her I said that because, yeah, why would I tell her nice things? Gaw. Um, the little monster is starting to cry, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Come talk to me in the comment section. Let me know if you participated in Scooby Doo-a-thon, what you read for it, link up your wrap-up videos, all of that. I hope you have a great week, guys. Give it a big thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe if you're new. Bye.